with coverage you can count on. This is the Erie News Nowcast.
And good morning on your Monday. I'm Mark Soliday. It's a mid-morning check of some of the stories we're following here at Erie News Now. Beginning with the latest on COVID-19, we're keeping an eye out for any changes to the CDC's face mask guidance. There are reports that the CDC's recommendation that fully vaccinated Americans don't need to wear those facial coverings inside, well, it could be reversed. It comes as COVID-19 cases involving the Delta variant spike in spots all across the country. On Sunday, on some of the talk shows, Dr. Anthony Fauci said revising the mask guidelines for fully vaccinated people is, quote, under active consideration, end quote. That's as infections climb in some 90% of America, more so. Some cities like St. Louis, Missouri are actually reinstating their mask mandates today, while other areas look at new guidance as, again, that more highly contagious Delta variant continues its spread. Dr. Fauci says the country's virus fight is headed in the wrong direction. Those were his words on Sunday. America's 7-day average of new cases is actually up more than 50% from just last week. Well, with the start of another high school football season just about a month away, Erie High School is still in need of a new coach. That could be changing at this hour as Erie School Board members gather for a special session. They're supposed to vote on a proposal to hire Andre Henderson for that job. He was actually the varsity defensive coordinator for the Erie High School Royals football team last year. Erie native, former NFL player Javon Johnson had been in the running for that job, along with an assistant coach by the name of Joe Gabbard. But a while back, the Erie School District just restarted the whole application process and then recommended Henderson for the job. Again, that special Erie School Board session started a little bit ago at 10 o'clock this morning. We'll look for the end results of that scheduled vote on later editions of Erie News Now. A fundraiser for the family of a Pittsburgh firefighter who drowned in Lake Erie over the weekend. Well, that one has already raised more than 3 times its originally stated goal. Erie News Now has learned that that Steel City firefighter was actually here in our area for vacation with his family. This is in Conneaut, Ohio, back on Saturday afternoon. 38-year-old Pittsburgh firefighter Lee Weber on that family outing when he got caught on a break wall, went underneath the surface of the water. That was after he had reportedly helped one of his own children get to safety. Family members have set up a GoFundMe page to try and help out Weber's wife and his surviving children. The goal for that fundraising effort was $10,000, but it was well over $31,000 as of a little bit earlier this Monday morning. Coming off another relatively busy Sunday at local Catholic churches, and that's even before the church's call for Catholics to get back to in-person worship. That doesn't come for a couple more weeks, but a number of our churches here in our area are already reporting a boost in attendance. Now, St. George's in Mill Creek, the pastor says they have about 90% of their congregation back. At Holy Rosary, they say they're at about 70%, while they're also seeing some new faces.
Our regular parishioners have been drifting in, a couple of new ones each week, but we've also had a couple of new people register as well, and that's a real joy.
At both St. George and Holy Rosary tell us they regularly called their parishioners during the pandemic when a lot of them were stuck at home, just trying to stay in touch. Well, certainly we're coming off a Sunday that offered up plenty of sunshine. Overall, though, the last few weeks have been relatively rainy. Safe to say the weather has presented a challenge for a lot of backyard gardeners here in 2021. We're about to meet a couple of women who are willing to help you out. They're actually connecting with fellow gardeners right here at home on Facebook. Our Lena Jonathan has their story.
Bethany, Lenda, and Sarah Chahosky met a few years ago while working at the Mill Creek Branch Library. Quickly, they both realized their passion for growing everything and anything, from garlic to peppers and onions. Their love for gardening blossomed into a Facebook group called the Backyard Gardeners of Erie, where people can swap plants, advice, and share pictures of their own garden.
We have people that are in the city as well as out in the county, so there's just so many different types. A lot of the people either know what they can plant in their yard,
right,
or they just seem to have been really fortunate, I think, this year.
Here in Erie, it has rained double the average for the month of July. In the Facebook group, both Lenda and Trahosky have noticed a consistent complaint.
The weeds took over.
Along with the excess of weeds, gardeners may start to notice what looks like stretch marks on their plants, but that's just because of all of the rain, causing them to grow a little bit faster. But don't worry, they're still safe to eat.
Peppers usually do really great in our hot summer. So this is what a plant should look like if you have proper drainage, if you have a raised bed, or you have holes in your pots. If you don't have holes in your pots, you're probably going to look like this year.
Linda explains that with the rain and humidity, you might notice something else growing on your veggies.
You may start seeing like powdery look to your leaves, and that might be a sign you're going to have like a powder mildew. And that's a big thing you usually don't have to worry about till later in the season when you get towards fall.
There's a simple solution to that problem, according to Linda and Trahowski, is to just rinse off your plants and you should be good to go. Elena Jonathan, Erie News Now.
Well, the backyard garden getting lots of sunshine on our Monday, David.
Yeah, things trying to dry out overall. We did see a little bit of rain on Saturday, just some sprinkles come on and down. And right now, as we check out the bayfront, things looking extra nice. A little bit of boat activity today. You can see some over there towards Presque Isle. I know a lot of folks love to do some of that fishing. Now, you know, a lot of the country is really, really hot, and we are expecting more in the way of that heat as we do look ahead over the next couple of days. You can see that, I'm not sure what happened here with our Futurecast model, but anyway, you know, folks down in Florida and down along the south who always say, hey, we got the warm weather during the winter time. Well, they've got the big time heat, and we've got the nice feeling stuff overall, so we can kind of brag about that. Looking across the country right now, yeah, just a little scattering of those showers, but we're watching a pretty, it's not a significant storm by any means, but certainly going to have an impact on the Olympics. We've got Nepartak right here, and you can see that winds are at about 45 miles per hour as it continues off to the west, and it will likely move on shore. This is getting us into Tuesday evening. Of course, this is Japanese time. If you rewind 13 hours, that puts us at our time, so that would be tomorrow morning. The storm will be pretty close. It's already pushed ahead the schedule for some of those rowing events, but this isn't going to last too long as it continues to move off towards the north and west. And the schedule does include some of that rain in Tokyo on Tuesday, but with it remaining farther to the north, I don't think it's going to be a big impact for Tokyo, but some of those games outside of the national capital could potentially be impacted. Temperatures into the 80s, remaining in the 80s on Wednesday. Right now, temperatures are in the middle and upper 70s as we look across the area. Certainly a nice warm up overall. Dew points in the lower and middle 60s, so you definitely can feel a little bit of that mugginess in the air, but it's certainly not overly impressive. Futurecasts for today were nice and dry. You can enjoy those outdoor activities, sunscreen, the hats, sunglasses, and make sure you're staying hydrated. It's not as hot as some places in the nation, but it's certainly warm enough for our standards, relatively seasonable, if not a few degrees above normal. Heading into the evening hours, looking fantastic out there. And as we get into your Tuesday, there could be a shower trying to drop by a little bit later on in the day, but just not seeing a whole lot of active weather as we go through a good chunk of the week, but we do have a cold front later on in the week. That spells some pretty big changes overall, but today, sunshine, summer heat, and keeping that forecast dry. I'll tell you what that cold front will kind of do to our weather later in the week, coming up with that 7-day in just a moment.
Actor and producer LeVar Burton now taking his turn as guest host of the game show Jeopardy! Yeah, the former star and producer of that Reading Rainbow program says he's been a lifelong fan of the game show, adding that he just couldn't turn down the offer to get behind the lectern and host Jeopardy! Burton also has got a lot of support from the public in this one. Earlier this year, close to 250,000 people actually signed a petition calling on the producers of Jeopardy! To pick Burton to take on that guest hosting position, potentially even filling in on a more permanent basis. Burton's role lasts through the end of this week, July 30th. They've had a bunch of guest hosts since Alex Trebek passed away last November. Jeopardy! Is expected to name its permanent replacement a little later on this summer. Could be LeVar Burton. NFL quarterback Tom Brady is trending on this Monday. The 7-time Super Bowl winner actually set social media ablaze with a video of him passing. It had a lot of people talking, trying to debunk this one. The 43-year-old Bucs quarterback posted this video to Twitter on Sunday. Shows him throwing some pinpoint passes into a jugs machine, they call this thing, which then spits the ball right back to him. But yeah, sorry to, but be a buzzkill to any Tom Brady fans. It turns out this video is, I guess you could call enhanced. It's some clever video editing to make it look just as cool as it does. Still though, Tom Brady, if anybody was going to be able to do something like this with a football, it would probably be him. But not quite. That's why it's just this close to believable, David.
Yeah, that's right. And I have to be the critic here because,
That's your role, yeah.
you know how I feel about Tom Brady, but he did throw like 4 interceptions in the NFC Championship game. Does that count for anything, even though they won the Super Bowl? Okay, that's what I figured. As we look ahead over the next couple of days, you can see that we do have some isolated showers and maybe a couple of thunderstorms showing up there, but it's relatively quiet as a whole. Now on a Thursday, a system comes on in, and it will bring with it some rain and then cooler temperatures. Look at that. Another break from the heat as we go through the weekend, and Sunday officially starts the month of August. So we still have plenty of summertime to go, but once again, a little break towards the end of that 7-day.
Our next report's coming your way at noon, that one on WSEE, and we'll have 2 hours worth of news starting at 5 a.m. tomorrow. It's your Tuesday edition of Erie News Now Sunrise. I'm Mark Salday. We'll see you then.